The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration announced today it's finally set to publish its electronic logging device mandate, which will basically require all truck operators who are required to keep records of duty status to use an electronic logging device to keep up with their hours of service. The rule will take effect in December 2017, 2 years from tomorrow, which will be December 11th, 2017. The rule lays out it's a big rule, a couple hundred pages. It lays out the hardware specs, supporting documentation that drivers have to keep, the date, and then a bunch of things about preventing carriers from harassing drivers with the devices. One interesting note for owner-operators potentially is that the final rule exempts pre-2000 year model 2000 trucks from drivers who drive those trucks from complying with the rule. And Todd, I've got Overdrive senior editor Todd Dills here. He wrote more on that subject earlier today. Todd, what's your take on the pre-2000 exemption?
Well, it sounds like FMCSA looked at pre-2000 model year trucks, and a lot of those trucks do have electronically controlled engines. A lot of them don't, though. A lot of them have mechanical engines. Connecting an ELD device, as they've defined it, as a device that relays with the electronic control module. It's impossible to do on a mechanical truck, of course, and there are other options that they could have taken to outfit those trucks, but somewhat prohibitively expensive for operators of mechanical trucks, and then even the electronically controlled engines in a lot of pre-2000 trucks. A lot of the engine relay ports. There's a lot of variation between them. Some of them don't have them, according to the final rule and the justification for it, and so pretty high cost to get into a lot of the retrofitting that would be required to make something like an ELD work in those engines. And essentially, I think the cost benefit justification for the rule would have been hampered quite a lot from FMCSA's point of view if they had included pre-2000 year model trucks. That's just my guess. They do suggest a lot of that in the rules justification itself, but definitely a big win for those operators.
Yeah, and FMCSA projected in the rule that there would only be about 200,000 pre-year model 2000 trucks on the road that are driven by drivers required to keep records of duty status when the rule takes effect in 2017. So they're actually saying that, like you said, Todd, that the cost-benefit analysis said there just aren't enough of those trucks on the road to make much of a difference in terms of making them comply. And as far as hardware specs for a compliant electronic logging device, FMCSA in the rule requires that they be synced with a truck's engine via an electronic control module and record things like engine on and off time, the date, time, and location information of the truck, engine hours, vehicle miles, and ID information of the driver who's using the device. But they do not have to, they're not required to track a vehicle or a driver in real time, and they don't actually have to have capabilities for carriers and drivers to communicate with one another. The devices will, however, have to be able to produce connection with a roadside inspector on demand, the rule says, via a variety of ways, either email, USB 2.0, Bluetooth. The rule does allow use of phone apps to comply with the mandate, but they still have to comply with all of the other rule stipulations, such as connecting to a truck's engine control module. And Todd, that's usually done via some type of adapter that connects a truck's engine to a phone port. Is that right?
Yeah. So a lot of some of the more popular phone app makers, software developers like Big Road and Keep Trucking and UDrove and some of the others today have developed. Essentially, it's a plug-in port that plugs into the ECM and then communicates with the interface device, which in this case would be a phone or a tablet running an app. Communicates via Bluetooth that way, and so you're just you're still using. I know a lot of guys out there running Big Road or Keep Trucking just with their phones. They don't have that ECM connection today, but that's a big part of the market for a lot of these things. There's a lot of these popping up, more than just those two or three that I just mentioned, and definitely some of the more lower cost options on the market today compliance with this thing. And some of them, I believe, will have to modify their hardware a bit because of this. I'm not sure exactly of all the providers that will have to do that. Definitely something to keep an eye on as you're going forward. If the mandate hangs on, if it actually makes it, what FMCSA is going to do is have all the devices that are compliant and approved to be registered. So all these manufacturers and software providers will be registering their devices with the FMCSA, and there'll be a big list online.
Yep, and we've got that and a lot more coverage on overdriveonline.com, and we'd love to have reader comments there, as well as on our Facebook page, facebook.com/overdrivetrucking. So check us out there and leave us a comment.